Hello, my name's Hen and this is my channel, Crafting from the Broom Closet. And today we're continuing with the ABC April 2025 hashtag. And we're looking at envelopes. And as you can see in front of me, I have 3 envelopes. So these are pretty much standard envelopes you'll get anywhere. So this one is a standard card envelope. And as you can see, it has 3 sections. Flap at the bottom, a flap at 2 sides, and then the top. And then you have the standard envelope that you get for your door with the bills in that you don't want to open. And that has a flap at the top and a flap at the bottom. And this one is like a cross between the two. So it looks like this one, but it's more like, the construction of it is more like the other one, because this is just a big flap that's had the triangle cut out and then the flap at the top. Okay. So today we're going to try and make our own versions. So I have deconstructed one of these ones to show you how it's constructed. So this is the same envelope as that one. Oops. Same envelope as that one. Identical. But this one I have deconstructed. And as you can see, it is pretty much... My camera's going to go blah, 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 because it doesn't want to focus when I do this. It's pretty much a square. Let's turn it that way around. It's pretty much a square. Told you. It won't like it. It doesn't like plain things. So today we are going to make our own. And I've made up a couple already. So this is one of these types. So it's like a miniature version of this one. And this is the construction of this one. Again in miniature. And this is out of a book page. And they're really easy to do. You can buy tools all over the place. Let's move that out of the way. You can buy tools all over the place. Envelope makers. And they're great. They do make your life easier. But to be fair, you don't need them. They're really easy to make. So we're going to start with this shape. Just to show you how easy it is. Now let me open it up and you can see how it's made. So that is it. It is a rectangular piece. You can have a wider piece, you can have a longer piece, you can have a shorter piece. But it is basically a rectangular piece. And all you're cutting off is a couple of pieces. So, I'm going to be making one out of this wrapping paper. Oh, there's a bit of a shine. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about that. Bring it down here a little bit and it's less shiny. And it's the way the light's reflecting off it. So I'm going to make it out of this piece of wrapping paper. So how do we make it? Simple. You fold. You fold up. Depends on how deep a flap you want, where you fold up to. So you fold up. Make sure these are lined up here. I did cut this into a rectangle straight lines, but somehow I've missed a bit there. It was folded over. And then you fold down. And that is the basics. And you could just put a bit of glue here, inside here, and a bit of glue inside here. But then you're going to have the apron that is not going to be as structurally sound. So, let's, I'm going to use my, where's my ruler gone? I had it all placed out. I had everything organised. And then I go and put it down. Anyway, I'll use the back of my scissors. Just to give yourself a very firm line there. And a firm line there. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to turn this in a bit. So I'm just going to turn it in by 1 centimetre on my thing. or thereabouts. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate. Okay. And then do the same on the other side, around about 1 centimetre. And there you go. That's pretty much envelope made. No, not quite. So, what you will see is we now have, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. So we now have 3 sections here and 3 sections here. And we want to get rid of this section and this section, this section and this section. You can use a paper trimmer or a pair of scissors. I'm just going to use scissors. As we discovered the other day, I'm not very good at cutting straight lines. So what you want to do is cut down to this intersection here. And then cut this off at a slight angle. And you do the same here, here and here. So down to the intersection. Oh, look, I missed that line completely there. So try again. How to get the line. And then again an angle, and it's easier to come in from this side to angle it in. And these don't have to be perfect. The good thing about homemade is that it means you don't have to be perfect. Up to the intersection, and then to the angle. To the intersection. And then to the angle. There we go. Again, see, it's not perfect, but once you fold these in, fold that up and fold that down, that is your envelope. That's your basic envelope. So what you do is you put a bit of glue here and here, close it up, and there you go. Now, if you wanted to do the V envelope, you could, but I'm not going to be making one of them ones today. So I have just made the basic, this sort of style envelope with a flap down. Now you can do some fancy stuff on the corners here. You could just do a little snip like so. Ideally match it up on the other side. Oh, she says. Like that. No. Where'd that come off? That came off like that, so like that. Doesn't have to be perfect anyway. Or you could curve them. If you haven't got a corner cutter, which I haven't got, you could draw around something. So you could have a curved corner by drawing around your glue stick, for example, and cutting off the curve. There you go. Even just like that, just gives it a little bit of extra. And you might want to jazz it up. You might want to ink it. I'm not doing inking because a lot of people you won't have inking, but you can get a marker pen and just rub along the edge here, and it will show that defined. Or you could decorate it. You might want to put a bit of lace along there, for example. But that is your basic envelope. So you literally just put a bit of glue on here. I'll do that now. This is just Pritt Stick. You might want to use something a bit stronger. But Pritt Stick will do the job. I keep calling it Pritt Stick. It's glue stick. Pritt Stick is a brand. It's not Pritt Stick. It's just glue stick. There you go. And that is a very easy basic envelope. All done. once it dry, you've got quite a nice little envelope there, see? Now, let's look at the other type. So this type. So this is the one I made up over earlier on. It is just a, it's a square with some bits cut out. That's all it is. Okay, so let's get a square. Here we go, a square. So, how do we make it? We need to find the centre point. And I have misplaced my ruler, which I had earlier on. So bear with me, I'm just going to look at that for that and pop you on pause while I find it. So I found it. It was right next to me. I just was being blind. So if we measure this, it is 6.5 inches. So if I just mark 6.5 inches, half of 6.5 inches is 3.25. So that is there, I think. Nope, I've gone over a bit too far. So that is there. And then we go, it should be square, 6.5 inches, 3.25. And that is your centre point. Okay. So, what we do then is you turn your paper onto a diagonal. So to make the style I've just done, you're bringing these all the way into the middle. Okay? And you meet in the middle. But you don't have to meet them in the middle. So if you don't want to meet them in the middle, get your ruler and you go from the corner. I could do with my longer ruler, but I haven't got it. You go from the corner to the middle with your pencil. Anywhere along that line. Okay? So you want your points to stay on that line. Okay? And then, so say I want it to be wider, say that wide. You want to do it, so you want to measure that these are going in. I'm going to do it in centimetres just because I work better with centimetres. I can do inches. You want to make sure that they come in at the same point. So let's line it up with there. So this is actually 12 centimetres in. So if you fold it at the 6, it would bring it to the 12. So let's fold it at the 5. Okay, 5 on that side, 5 centimetres on that side. That's just under. 5 centimetres on that side, and then do the same on this side. Bring it to the 5. Okay, so that's when you would fold it in. So you fold this at this point, and it will give you a wider envelope than the one I made before. As long as they are being folded to that middle line. Okay, so that would then go up. You bring it up a little bit more, so you're bringing up, and you want it to go up above where you are. You've got a little bit of overlap there, and this isn't perfect, but this is a good thing about crafting. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you do the same. You go down and you bring it down to about there. Okay, so that is exactly the same way as I made, as this one has been made, and the same way as, where did I put it? Can't find the one I already made earlier. I'll find it in a minute. But it's the way it's made. All you need to do now is let's use our scissors again, scissor handle, to make sure these lines are pressed down really well. If you have what is known as a bone folder, you can use that. You can use your ruler. So now what we're left is, when we open that up, you will see there's some little triangles. I don't know if you can see them. See a little triangle? Tiny triangle there, tiny triangle there, tiny triangle there. You want to cut them out, okay? So you get your scissors and you cut out the triangles. Like so. This would be easier with better scissors, but I'm trying to show you that you don't have to have special equipment to make cards and book making stuff. I've done this line quite dark. That's because I wanted you to see it, but I would recommend that you don't do it dark, although it won't show on the inside of the envelope. So it isn't a major issue if you do. You won't see it. However, there is a use for these envelopes where you may see it, which is why it depends on how you're planning on using them, whether you're worried about them lines or not. There you go. So that is them cut out. So it's the other way around. So that's your bottom of your envelope. That's your top of your envelope. You might want to chop off a little bit of this at the top here, like so. There you go. That just gives you a bigger opening. And then you would just glue it down here, and there is your envelope. Okay. But I'm just going to try and rub these marks out so you can't see them, because I'm going to show you how this particular envelope could be used in a journal or a book. So it came out, rubbed out quite well. Just them lines there now. Okay, so this is my book page. It's not, it's the back of my Tesco magazine. So what you could do with this envelope is you can stick it onto your book page. There's a pocket, so you just glue here along the bottom, along that side. It gives you a pocket. But if you leave this unstuck and just have some sort of fastening here, you can then open this up and it gives you all that space to write in. Or you can have it glued down and it's another pocket. So you've got a pocket there and a pocket there. So that's how it can be used in a book. Two different ways. So you can either have it as a pocket and another pocket, or you can have it where you can open it up and you've got all this space that you can write on. So there you go. So that's that one, and you can make them out of anything. So you saw me make this one out of the wrapping paper, but I can make one out of the wrapping paper in the other style too. So again, just need to find the center point. So it's, what is it, 15? Yeah, it's 15 centimeters, I believe. No, it's 14.5. So 7.25. Seven and a quarter. This one, I'm just going to bring it into the corners, the corners into that point. fold it up, and fold it down, and then open it up and you cut out these triangles, and that is your envelope made, and you can trim off the bottom. That is how simple it is to make an envelope, and they, like I said, they can be made out of anything. So here's a magazine page. It's got that on the back, out of a Tesco food magazine. I like the mushrooms, and I don't hate that. So let's do one out of this. So you can, if you don't have any way of measuring it, you can find your centre point by bringing up the corners and pushing down like that, and bringing up the corners and pushing down like that, and there you will find your centre point. So you bring these into the centre. I'm doing this into the centre way because it means you don't have to measure, whereas the other way I have to measure. Bring that into the centre, bring that up. Oh, I think I've gone crooked there, but do you know what? It doesn't matter. It's just a slightly different shaped envelope. And then you bring that down. Again, I think I've definitely gone a bit skew with, because that's now gone off to that side. But that doesn't matter because we can fix that, because we're taking that triangle out, remember. So let's take that triangle out. Take this triangle out. Take this triangle out. And take this triangle out. I don't know how well you can see them, the creases are there. Okay, let's have a look how it looks once I've taken the triangles out. See, it's definitely gone off skew with. So you can see this is coming down way too low now, but that's fine. But and it's also going over the edge there. So how do we fix that? Simple. Just take your scissors and cut down at a slight angle to the corner, and the same here. There you go. It's just a different way of doing it, and I want to take off this as well because that's way too big. So let's have a bit of fun. Let's make this a curvy opening, and then it won't be so noticeable. That you did that wrong, and it looks like it's purposely done like that now. Open it up, and the only thing you're going to see inside of this is this part, and there you go. You have a slightly different envelope. You might want to take that tip off as well, just there. Glue it down. There you go, and there you have an envelope. That's how simple they are. What else can I make one out of? So I've made some out of wrapping paper. I made this one out of book page. That just needs gluing down. Let's move my scraps away. As you can see, I've done very thin tabs on this one. That's fine. That's going to be enough. I'm going to go sideways in with my glue because Fold that up. Put it down. There you go. Oh, I didn't do that very well. Maybe I didn't put any glue on at all. There we go. Try again. Try again. There you go. Try not to get it on the inside like this. If you need to, put something underneath. Let's rub that glue off because I don't want that sticking down. There you go. Get it down like so. Give it a good rub. You can use PVA glue. You can use stronger glue because glue stick probably isn't the best. But there you go. There is a little envelope. What else? So I had a card given to me for Mother's Day. So it's a dotty on one side, red on the other side. As you can see, it did say Mum on there. So I want that on the inside so we can't see it. So we do the non-measuring way to get to the point, the centre point. Bring your corners in. Quick squeeze. The only thing with this, it does leave the wrinkles on the outside. But if you're sticking it down, no one will see them. To that point there. That should be around about the centre point. So bring these sides in. Bring this side in. Bring that up. And bring that down. And then all you got to do is cut out your corners. There's a cute little envelope. And you can decorate these however you want. So you could, for example, on this one, just put a little heart there. It's quite cute. Little love letter. Or you could cut out some butterflies this is from a napkin, and stick them on. You can make them as fancy or as simple as you want them to be. But yeah, so I'll just cut out some butterflies from a napkin, stick them on, and there you go. Pretty envelope. So that is all for today. So, and tomorrow is a day off. It is Sunday. So we're back on Monday. This is D. So this is E. So the next one is F, and we are going to be doing faux fabric or faux leather. See you again soon. Bye bye.